All right, giddy up. The Idaho Bureau of Land Management is rounding up 220 wild horses in herd management areas in Owyhee County to help bring populations to levels ranges can support. Our Jude Binkley was at today's wild horse gathering. He brings us a look at how the BLM is managing herds.
Mustangs roam free out here in the high desert of Owyhee County, but when wild horse populations run too wild, the Idaho Bureau of Land Management conducts wild horse gatherings with the goal of maintaining healthy herd numbers in their management areas. A symbol of the American West.
Idaho's wild horse herds are very special, especially this Black Mountain herd.
Galloping for generations under the southwest Idaho sun. The BLM is taking the reins, managing populations for future generations. Using a helicopter,
Very much like a border collie in the sky.
to herd 220 horses.
We're planning to remove 142, and then we'll return 40 studs and 38 mares.
The 38 mares will be given a fertility control vaccine. The BLM's goal is to get herd numbers down to the low end of their appropriate management level.
Ultimately, the BLM's whole objective is to have healthy wild horses on healthy rangelands.
Rangelands that visitors like Janet Gilbreth came to visit.
Mustangs they're not alike. They're different, so you never know what you're going to get.
To see the environment her horse Jody came from.
And I just want to know kind of what her life was like before, becoming adopted.
And I've actually trained horses that have come through these gathers before, so, I think many of the Mustangs are very, very smart animals.
Which was shown as the herd ran out of the trap multiple times, not falling for the Judas horse trained to lead them into the corral.
I've been to a lot of wild horse gathers since about 2010, and normally they go in very smoothly. I think this group has a pretty smart lead horse, and they got right to the mouth of that trap and were decided that they didn't want to stay.
About a dozen visitors were at Black Mountain to document and watch the roundup.
I would rather see them left on the range.
Including Bobby and Paul Moeller, who are part of Wild Horse Education, a group that believes there are more humane ways to manage herds.
Go out and periodically dart to limit population growth. As long as you know for sure that what you're doing is not going to create sterility. We want to have viable long-term herds out here.
During Wednesday's roundup, a foal was trampled to death.
And I know BLM, I know they care about the horses, but this doesn't show that to me. If you really care about the horses, why would you do it when there's little babies out there?
The BLM says the helicopter drive trap method has been proven to be the most effective way to gather a large number of animals over difficult terrain.
Less than 0.5% of the time that there is a gather-related injury or fatality. That being said, accidents can happen. These are wild animals, but we do everything within our power to make sure that we are handling them in the safest and most humane manner possible.
All the Mustangs being removed will be taken to the Boise Wild Horse Off-Range Corral and be part of the BLM's Wild Horse and Burro Adoption Program. In Owyhee County, Jude Binkley, Idaho's News Channel 7.
The BLM is hosting an adoption event the first weekend in November at the Boise Off-Range Corral. Horses that don't get adopted are cared for by the BLM at off-range pastures and corrals.